time it is. It's your boy David at the Irish Hotspur, Ireland's #1 Spurs fan, bringing you the preview and everything else you guys need to know for tomorrow's crunch game, Tottenham versus Aston Villa. Is it going to be Nunos' last game in charge? Who knows? But guys, do let me know in the comments. We are joined by tonight, with full panel tonight. We're joined by co-host Jack, of course, channel regular Philip, and newcomer Josh, who came on the pre-match pump-up the other day and was absolutely brilliant, brought lots of energy. But look, first of all, Jack, how are you, my man?
Doing really well, David. Now maybe fresh off the stats with Jack, I can finally take a breath, practically talk for almost an hour and 40 minutes straight, for that one, taking no breaths. Now I can maybe focus on what I'm actually going to say, even be a bit more kind of chilled out for this, maybe not as high octane, and looking forward to what Josh and Philip have to say and probably just carry off of the back of them. Might be kind of writing your guys' answers on a lot of these guys.
Look, it should be a cracker of a show there. And that finished just half an hour ago. Stats of Jack, of course, absolutely brilliant. Philip, my man, how are you? I'm sure a lot of people are excited to hear from you as usual.
I'm good. I'm nervous about tomorrow. I think we all are, because we don't want another disastrous Sunday. There's been too many of them lately. So here's hoping for a better result tomorrow.
No, 100%. I hope so. I hope we all Spurs fans, we all need to win, that's for sure. Josh, my man, how are things? Welcome to the Irish Hotspur, man.
Thank you very much. Everything's doing well, man. Everything's going well. Glad to be on.
No, look, it's definitely a privilege to have you. Everyone, big up Josh in the comments, big up Philip in the comments, and of course, big up Jack in the comments. But look, I'll tell you everything you need to know. Of course, we are at home in the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Of course, kickoff is at 2 p.m. And look, if you're not agreeing with the decisions by the referee tomorrow, his name is Chris Kavanagh, so you know what to do. Just get on his case if he ruins the game for us. Of course, the match is not televised in the UK and Ireland tomorrow, so we're all going to have to be using dodgy streams for that. That's for sure. Guys, you can join me on the pre-match pump-up starting at 12:30 over on We Are Tottenham TV. I think it was Brains McLeod the other day saying, he goes into the games thinking we're going to lose, and he comes up pumped up, nearly headbutting walls, thinking we're going to win. So, guys, make sure you get over there and check that out from 12:30 onwards. And, of course, make sure you come back here at 1:55 with the watch-along. Of course, myself and Jack will be on that for the watch-along here, guys. So make sure you do get tuned in for that. Previous fixture, of course, Philip bets 2-1. That was the fixture where Harry Winks was running around after Jack Grealish, asking him what cologne he used and what hair dye he used and how he does his hair. Fed up with it. Team news, guys, is Steven Bergwijn is out with a sprained ankle, longest sprained ankle I've ever heard in history. Ben Davies, of course, is out with suspected appendicitis. For Aston Villa, Leon Bailey is out, Morgan Sanson is out, and so is Trezeguet. And it's not the Trezeguet from back in the day who used to bang in the goals either. It's some different dude who's trying to mimic him. Aston Villa, just quickly, Aston Villa are widely expected to go with the same team they played with last week. And, of course, the three at the back where they got their result against Man United. And just Aston Villa have won the last two games without conceding a goal as well, playing this formation. So it's one that they're definitely getting used to. Guys, let's see what Harris Army we have in here. We have Cuvan99. He's saying, David, you're taking the piss. You had enough time for a piss and a sandwich. Fire up the channel, man. Pick yourself up, my man. Adam's in the building. 2 Irish Hotspur streams in a row. Must be my lucky day. Honestly, Christmases do come early, my man. I'm an example of that. We have Starsky in the building. Big up, Starsky. Says, evening all. Old Soul 53. Big yourself
Legend.
up. All things are well. Who else have we got here? We've got the regular in the building. The atmosphere at the ground would be toxic if we go one down. 100%. I couldn't agree more. I would say, rightly so. Players have been shit. Managers been shit. I don't even think he knows his best 11. So rightly so. They hardly expect a positive atmosphere when they were playing that crap. Paul Markey says, Romero and Lo Celso have to start and Dyer must not play. He's too slow for the Villa attack. I couldn't agree more, Paul Markey. If Dyer plays, Ollie Watkins and Danny Ings will have a field day with him, running in behind all day long. THFC's in the building. Sanuska Ramshunder says, hi, everyone. Come on, you Spurs. Come on, you Harris Army. Come on, you Flat Cap Army. Big yourself up. We have the Darkness says, I'm Nuno out, but I don't want us to lose just to get in the sack. Fair play, my man. Fair play. That's what I like. That's what I like to hear. So he's in the building. Says, even the boys, come on, you Spurs. Big up. So I hope you're enjoying FIFA as well. I hope you're absolutely freaking out on it. Vince Vega says, come on, you Spurs. Big yourself up, Vince Vega. Mary McGee's in the building, says, big up, lads. Come on, you Spurs. Big yourself up, Mary. Lazy 8 says, big up, lads. Great to see Philip as always. And good to see the new face, Josh. Big up, Nick. I hope things are well. Honestly, guys, as much as Philip and Jack and I blow your socks off, Josh will too. Don't worry about it. Adam says, big up Philip and Josh. Same as Kuva says, big up Philip and Josh. Go Get It says, my guy, big yourself up, Go Get It.
Haven't seen Go Get It in a while. Big up Go Get It. I haven't seen him in a while. So there you go, Go Get It.
Big yourself up. I seen him. He was over in Henry Wright stream the other day. Big yourself up. JC says, how are you fellas? We're all good, my man. We're all good. Big yourself up, JC. Harry Singh says, watch Brighton versus Scum. How to beat us last week is beyond me. Keep the faith. Come on, you Spurs. They bet us because our team has no backbone, no spine, and can't take on down one down without dropping heads and crying and moaning. That's the reason why, Harry. Paul Markey with the super chat. Big yourself up. Really appreciate it, my man. Says, Iniesta now odds on favourite for the Barca job. Leaves Gallardo a prime target. Paratici needs to move fast. Come on, you Spurs. Yeah, look, give it to Iniesta. I hope they do give it to Iniesta. The decline of Barcelona keeps continuing. That would be nice. As for Gallardo, look, I have been told, and it's by a very reliable source, we actually approached this guy in the summer. He didn't want to come. He wanted to see out his contract at River Plate, and I think his contract is up around December, January. So you won't be getting this guy, and he's come out again over the last couple of days, even though he's linked with Barca, and said he ain't moving anywhere until his contract is up at River Plate in Argentina. Look, I'll be honest with you, I don't know too much about the guy. I don't know why this guy's name has been thrown around lately. Any of you guys actually know anything on him? Philip, Josh, Jack?
No.
I haven't got a clue in the foggiest, mate.
Yeah, all I know, David said he doesn't want to leave sunny Buenos Aires, for North London. That's all I know.
Yeah, I mean, I know some of the names that were thrown around. We approached Conte. We approached. Well,
right.
I don't know if Gattuso approached us or we approached him, but he was another name as well.
Dealers on the
Poch as well. Poch was another one that we approached.
You're right, Philip.
Yeah. No, but apparently the source is telling me, it's a very reliable source saying we did approach this guy. He just wasn't having any of it. But big up Paul Markey. I did get tagged in a few things about this guy. Being sick today, but I will have a look at it tomorrow, my man, or Monday.
Sounds like something worth for maybe for the sister channel, Dave. For the second channel, maybe a bit of Marcelo Gallardo, breakdown just in case, and then we could, maybe have a heard it here first kind of moment. But yeah, maybe tune in for that. Maybe Paul Markey might be on the second channel. Just gave me an idea, popped a light bulb.
No, 100%. So there you are, Paul Markey. Big up, my man. Really appreciate the support, and I hope you're doing well. William McKenzie's in the house says, you don't win with tactics, you win with hunger and fight. Come on, you Spurs.
True.
Spurs Savage says, what's up, guys? Big yourself up, my man. Mary McGree said, David, I have an ankle injury and it's for life, I'm afraid to say. Fair point. I'll give you that one, Mary. I'll give you that one. Brian C says, Jack, will you send your analysis video to Nuno tonight? There's still time. Big up, lads and panel. Nervous for tomorrow. Day of reckoning for Nuno. But Brian, see what I'd say to you, it is a day of reckoning. I am nervous, but at the end of the day, I'm always confident. Well, look, we want to turn the villains into heroes, and the reason why I say heroes is because if they give us 3 points tomorrow, they will be heroes in my eyes. Look, I like Villa as a club. I'll be honest with you.
Yeah, me too.
At the end of the day, I want 3 points. In fact, actually, I think they're the only club in the Premier League that hasn't given me a reason to be pissed off with them, to be fair. But look, don't worry about Brian C. I know I say this every week, but I truly mean it today, and I get that feeling with Harry Kane getting the hat-trick in midweek. He's going to come out all guns blazing, baby. He's going to fire us to victory. 3 points incoming. Everyone better be there with their hands wide open, ready to receive it. That's what I say. Jack, what do you want to say to Brian C.?
I mean, Brian C, again, the philosopher, you haven't really chosen, Brian C, what your philosopher name is. Maybe you just want to go as the Brian, I think that'd be plenty okay. But all I can say is, I am quite nervous for tomorrow. And honestly, maybe Nuno, if he has a Gmail, and if anybody knows, maybe Nuno's Gmail, please just, add me to it. I would just add him to, the shared file of, the Google presentations for Stats with Jack. Then he can see it being built, throughout the week and whatnot, see what David and I are thinking about and working on. We can all collaborate together. And then probably we get Dark Sun G in there as well, maybe to give Nuno some thought points as well on what players, because I know Dark Sun G picks the best lineups there is. So maybe just Nuno just needs a bit of extra help, in the dugout. And if it comes virtually or, via, Stats with Jack, the better.
No, 100%. I couldn't agree more. But big up Brian C. Really appreciate the support, my man, top man. Let's welcome in a few more. We've James Redmond. We have Stuart Such as although Nuno has not impressed, I think we have to give him a bit more time. There really is no one out there that would be decent and will want to join us anyway. That is a fair point, to be fair. Big up, Chris. Hope things are well, my man. What a man. And big up, Shamu as well. Big up, Shamu. Hope things are well. Guys, before we get into it, make sure everyone smashes that like button. Make sure you smash that subscribe button if you are new. The big push for 5K is on. And look, why not help support me and Jack on our journey with a super chat? It is greatly, greatly appreciated, guys, and it is a great way to support your favorite YouTubers, no matter whether it's us or anybody else. You know, unless you have a really good paid sponsorship, people really do rely on it. You know, so big yourselves up if you do. Big up Brian C. and Paul Markey so far.
It's a good way to support creators, unless you're an Arsenal fan and you're sponsoring Arsenal Fan TV. Then get out.
No, 100%. I couldn't agree more. But look, guys, like Josh says, it is a great way to support us. Look, I do know not everybody's in a position to do that. I'm well aware of how the world works. You know, some people's last fiver does go on electric and stuff like that. But don't you worry, I've got you covered. I will bring up your comments anyway, so do not worry about that. But look, Jack, you know, I'll start with you. Last time out, United versus United, Villa played the 5-3-2 with their wing-backs, you know, causing absolute riots down the wings. Should Nuno match up and change his formation to match them up, or do you think he will stick with the 4-3-3, 4-2-3-1 formation?
It's really tough. It's hard to know what Nuno's thinking about. But maybe before I get to that, I will just say, you know, I think we should be switching to the back five, to the back three. I think it ensures a bit of defensive solidity. I think even someone spoke about earlier on Stats with Jack that, you know, a clean sheet, you know, is a must at this rate, considering, you know, how many goals we've conceded and obviously the last 3 Premier League matches. You know, it's just, you know, a bit of defensive solidity is what we need, as much as we can, you know, try to outscore the opposition. If we concede another 2-3 goals, again, I mean, I don't really see us maybe pulling out a good result. And as well as, you know, with Aston Villa, I would say they also have had, you know, a fair few clean sheets this season. And that might have to be with, has to do probably with that, you know, switch that Dean Smith made, you know, to a back five, to a back three. You know, maybe Nuno, he's plenty comfortable with it. Obviously, with Wolves, I would just say, you know, it might be the best solution just to get a bit of that defensive solidity. We might not be as good going forward, but then again, we haven't been too great going forward. So hopefully we might just find a whole new kind of groove, a whole new kind of system. Probably allows you then to be able to play Emerson and Tanganga at the same time. I feel like Tanganga can easily make a switch to, you know, a back five. He probably is actually a bit of maybe a back five kind of specialist when you think about it, because it allows him to really push forward and be really aggressive and maybe win the ball high up the pitch. But then as well, you know, he can be partnered with someone like Romero, and then maybe even another kind of midfielder like Højbjerg or Skip or something as well in there, Dave. You know, we've spoke about this before. There are a lot of Bermuda triangles that you can make in the squad with, you know, the hard-hitting kind of tacklers, you know, the kind of no-nonsense defenders, a bit of the nasty kind of defenders as well, which we actually have a plethora of. So I would just say, maybe my last point on that, maybe it would just be that Romero, his best ever position, or the reason he was Serie A Defender of the Year last season, he was in the middle of a back three in that libero kind of role, Dave. So when you consider it that way, I think it actually brings out the best out of certain players, especially our defenders. Is Nuno thinking about that, to answer that other part of your question? Hopefully he is, just because I do think his job to a degree is on the line. There's a lot of pressure on him. I think that's what he's probably got to go towards. I can't really predict, though, whether he's actually doing that, because it seems like he's almost been told exclusively, you know, to do the back four.
Interesting answer. Very good answer there, Jack, I have to say. Look, Philip, same with you. You know, if you were Nuno, potentially could be your last game. Do you change it up and go with what you know from the Wolves sort of era? Because we do have the players to play that formation. Or do you stick with the 4-2-3-1 and just drop some of the players that have let you down?
Well, I mean, going back to last Sunday's disaster, when Nuno didn't seem to have any clue what formation Arsenal were going to play, and got it totally wrong. Okay, he admitted he got it wrong, but that's no good doing that after the fact. He should have got it right before the match. So I have no great confidence in what he's going to do tomorrow. I do think, I agree with Jack, I think we're going to have to start with a 5 or 3 at the back and the 2 wing backs. And Tanganga probably move into the center with Romero in the middle, and probably Sanchez as well. Though certainly not Eric Dyer. He cannot be anywhere near that team tomorrow, or we get murdered. So okay, start with 3 at the back, see how the game goes. See, are we on the press or are Villa on the press? Because Villa went to United last year and last week and looked like the home team.
Yeah.
They made United look amateurish, as Everton did today. So that's not the first time anyone's done that. But no, stick with the three at the back. Wing backs, be a little bit conservative at the start. See, because Villa have got pace in their team. We don't want players getting in behind us. But I just, after Sunday, it's going to take an awful long time for Nuno to restore my faith in his tactical ability. Because last week he showed he didn't have any. So he's got a big job ahead of him tomorrow to convince a lot of fans that he is the man to still remain in the job. If we lose tomorrow, the knives are going to be sharpened for him, unfortunately.
100%. I couldn't agree more. But look, we will get onto people's thoughts on Nuno and that a bit later on the show. But I couldn't agree more, Philip. Great way of putting it, I have to say. And look, Josh, same with you, my man. You know, what would you do? What would you do tomorrow if your ass was on?
I'd 100% go with a 5 at the back. If they're going to press with a 3 like they did against United, then we have to try and counter that. And they have Danny Ings. Let's not forget, they have Danny Ings, who is like the kryptonite to any Spurs defence.
Yeah.
I said this the other day, he scores against us no matter what team he's playing for. And we need to shut him down as best as we can. All I'm going to say is thank God for appendicitis, so that means we don't see Ben Davis, because if he was in our team, we know full well we're going to lose.
I was waiting for somebody to say that. Go on.
We'll send him the get well slowly card then.
Appendicitis couldn't come any sooner, could it really? We'll have a decent left back. Let's say that.
Yeah.
But I mean, in terms of who we play, if we go with the 3 with the two wingers, I don't know about Sanchez completely, but I definitely go with like a Romero. Oh, what was I going to say? The pressure's now got to me. Romero, Rodon, and I'll take Tanganga as well in the centre, to be fair.
No, 100%. I couldn't agree more there. Good answers, guys. Absolutely, it shows off to a flyer. Big yourselves up. Paul Markey says to play a 5 at the back. Our midfield is too weak, and we get over and run there. Have to play 4-3-3 or 4-2-3-1 to get our strongest play. Well, look, Paul Markey, that brings me on to my answer. So good segue, my man. Appreciate that. Look, for me, I would go with the 4-2-3-1, and purely because I'm a bit old school, I prefer the 4 at the back. Look, my partnership at the centre back will be Romero, Rodon, Tanganga out right back, Reguilon out left back. I just think the 4-2-3-1 would suit us a bit more. Look, the 4-3-3, it's too defensive. It's way too defensive. We don't get enough bodies flooding forward. With the 4-2-3-1, like Pochettino used to play, I do think you'd probably see the best out of Kane, Son, hopefully Lucas Moura, and whoever's given that free role, whether it be Gill, Ronald McDombele, or Giovanni Lo Celso, who knows, but we'll wait and see. But Paul Markey, I'd agree with you there. I would prefer the 4-2-3-1, my man. Midfield too weak. Oh. Yeah, there's an argument for it, to be fair. There is an argument for it, to be fair. Look, for me, I just think a 4-2-3-1 would suit. You could put Højbjerg and Skip as your 2 CDMs. That means you allow Reguilon to bomb forward one side, and whether it be Tanganga or Emerson, the other side, you allow them to bomb forward, and then they're covered, rather than sending all your midfield for, like, because what was happening, Dele Alli was playing the left side, and I don't know why this was happening, but Dele Alli was playing the left side of midfield, bombing forward, but then so was Reguilon. So anytime teams got the ball, there's no one down that side to cut it out, and there's no midfielder to come across and cut it out either. So I do think we have to go with a 4-2-3-1.
I suppose with that formation as well, if you've got the two defensive midfielders, they can also drop back as well.
Yeah.
So instead of the whole midfield pulling back and leaving only 2 players up front, you bring the 2 back and you've got the 3 up front.
Yeah.
Right.
Exactly, and it just gives you options. It gives you options, which is what we need at this current time. But look, Jack, say if we were to go with a 4 out at the back, look, for me, last time out, I thought Romero, Rodon, I thought they had a good game. And it's a partnership I actually think will flourish going forward. Would you play them against Villa again? Or do you think Nuno will change it up and maybe bring in a Dyer or a Sanchez? For me, I don't want Dyer. I think his pace is going to be a liability tomorrow. And him switching off will be a liability. So I don't want to see him there. But who would you play at centre-back tomorrow, Jack?
If it were the back 4, I would probably go for Sanchez and Romero, Dave. And that reason being is maybe, I mean, of course, people have said a lot about, the language, being, similar for them, that they can speak Spanish. But for me, it actually has to do with maybe what you were alluding to has to do with the pace, has to do with the physicality. We know Ollie Watkins is actually a lot stronger than even people give him credit for. I think maybe going up against Romero or Sanchez, I actually do back that battle in terms of their strength, in terms of their pace as well. Danny Ings and Ollie Watkins aren't maybe very slow. So you do consider that we do have to actually have a bit pacier kind of defenders back there. And to a degree, Dave, as much as we kind of credited Moon Boots this season in terms of, him kind of stepping it up, but which one would I continue to give chances to when I really don't have any choice, Dave? I'd probably continue to give chances to Sanchez, because Sanchez, I think, has actually done a lot more than even Eric Dyer has for me this season. I think Sanchez, by no means, of course, he got exposed multiple times on Sunday against, the scum, but you have to also take into consideration that was the same for Dyer as well. And I would just probably rather give Sanchez even more opportunities than I would Romero. And in that case as well, if we are going for the back four, I just feel like they might have a bit more of a connection. And also Sanchez has so far this season has been able to ping balls maybe in ways that we never thought he ever could. And then as well, I think they might be able to match that physical battle a bit more than Eric Dyer would as well. If any balls are put into the box, someone has to win a header over Ollie Watkins, I know Sanchez would win it plenty more times than Eric Dyer would. So that would be my other contest. So Dave, it would probably be Sanchez over Eric Dyer if I can only pick two.
Interesting. Well, look, I know Josh is eager to disagree, so Josh, take it away.
I mean, to be fair, like I've said it before, like I think Eric Dyer gets too much stick. I mean, I know he hasn't been playing great recently, but when he does have these performances where he does play well, right? Sanchez really hasn't played that much as opposed to Eric Dyer. But then when the shoe's on the other foot, if
you would say the same thing if you were,
exactly. I mean, if I'm gonna put Romero anywhere, it would probably be again in the position of Dyer. I think Romero needs to start. Like, that is a given, 100%. There is a reason we pay £47 million for him, and he's not a bench warmer. We cannot keep him on the bench. He needs to start and he needs to get 90 minutes worth of football. He even put Rodon on, like Rodon in replace of Sanchez. Like, it works either way.
Yeah.
I mean, that's where I'd go. If
one of them has to move to left-sided centre back. You're right, Josh. Maybe if I'm going to replace one,
if I'm going to replace one, I'm going to replace Eric Dyer with Romero. But if I'm replacing both, Romero and
Eric Dyer,
I think Romero gave us a sample of what he can do on Thursday night. There, he went forward with a 50-yard run with the ball. I think he's a good man at bringing the ball out of defence, which is something we haven't had for a long time.
Yeah.
So I would say Romero's got to play, and it's a toss-up for me between Rodon and Sanchez.
Yeah, Rodon is actually the one we're forgetting about. Maybe is the outside shout as well. I know Dark Sun G would agree with that too. So maybe we're all wrong in this scenario. It should be maybe Romero and Rodon.
We'll know at 1 o'clock tomorrow.
Yeah, 100%. Look, for me, I definitely want to see Romero and Rodon. And the reason why I say Rodon is, look, Sanchez had his chance last season. Dyer had his chance last season. Rodon came in and looked like our most experienced centre-back and our best centre-back last season. Look, I would give him a chance. I would give him a chance in beside Romero. Look, the kid's been unlucky. He was outcasted under that other knobhead. What's his name? Mason. Yeah, and then, of course, he's been injured, so hasn't really had a fair chance of getting into the team this season. Look, I do think Romero and Rodon going forward, you get them to build a partnership. You have that for the next 7-8 years. It'd be ideal. Paul Markey says Dyer by name and Dyer by nature. 100%.
That's all well and good, but when he puts the shirt on, he actually he loves the club. Like, we see that every week. Like, he as diabolical. He might have two left feet at times, but he knows how to take control of that team, and he will shout orders out.
Yeah, do you know what? I get that, but I'll be honest, Josh. If I was in the team and I had him shouting out orders at me and he's making
recently he's been absolutely tragic. He's been tragic, but I think people are being too harsh on him.
But I'm just like, look, if you're in the team, right, and he's shouting orders at you and he's making these mistakes, I wouldn't listen to him. I'll be honest with you. I just say, look, you need to concentrate on your own game instead of worrying about what I'm doing. Look, with Dyer, I get it. Like, he loves the club. He does fight and everything else. But I'll be honest with you. Look, I'm a Spurs fan. I love the club. Does it mean I'm good enough to play? No, it doesn't. But Philip, Trev, what would you say, man?
But what we need, and what every successful club has, is a settled centre-back partnership. Not to be chopping and changing it every other match, which, let's face it, that's been happening quite a bit recently. Okay, I know you have to change it for the Conference League, but we need a settled Premiership centre-back pairing that gets to know each other, and as time goes on, they'll perform better and better. Now, what that is tomorrow is, well, we'll see. I don't really know what it's going to be. But my preference for going forward would probably be the two R's, Romero and Roland.
Yeah.
Roland has never done it. He's never let us down. In all the games he's played, he's never made a cock up like some of the other players have that I can remember.
I think he cocked up a little bit against Palace there, pal. I don't know. I think there's a reason.
Maybe when you have Ben Davies playing at centre back next to him.
It's a bit fair that the defense, the players he was playing alongside that day probably didn't do him any justice,
well, no, I get that as well. But if you're going to penalise one, you need to penalise the whole back four. Like, it's just how it is.
True enough. But let's say he's cocked up less than the other ones. Maybe.
That's fair enough. That's a fair comment.
So give him a chance. I mean, he's young, and they're both young. And as somebody said there, David, we need a centre half pairing that's going to go forward for the next few seasons, not just for the next few matches.
No,
I don't know.
No, I agree with you there. Look, we need to get it sorted. We need to get a centre-back partnership going forward. It's crucial to be able to build our foundations on, in my opinion. The great Sir Alex Ferguson, you'll always say, defence wins your leagues, and it's that simple. So we need to we need to get it sorted out big time. Look, Jack, Ollie Skip, he showed just how important he was when he came off the bench against Arsenal. He showed just how important he is during the week in that midfield. Look, for me, I think he has to come back in. I think he has to start. I think he has to play. I think it's a no-brainer. I think he has to be in there nearly every game. Jack, would you start him? Would you put him in the starting lineup again tomorrow? And what is it about Ollie Skip that you think maybe that he's established himself in the first 11 so quickly?
To a degree, you might say, are two most embarrassing losses, maybe bar Crystal Palace, but I think I would still put maybe the Chelsea loss and the Arsenal, defeat. It kind of hurt me a bit more than maybe the Crystal Palace defeat. And also with the Crystal Palace defeat, I would say we had a lot of absences, and it did go wrong from the very beginning, because of injuries. And so I would maybe say, Dave, those two losses against, Chelsea as well as Arsenal were without Ollie Skip starting the match. And he's only started now 4 matches this Premier League season, while the rest of these players have started 6. That might not be a coincidence that, we've got some of our most embarrassing smackings, with Ollie Skip maybe missing in that lineup. You probably just fit him in however you can. If we do for a back 3, back 5, you probably do what David was talking about with that, kind of a 2 holding midfielders, maybe somebody in front of them like a Gio or a Tanguy or something, or even a Brian Hill maybe is a good shout. But then again, I would say, with also Skippy, Dave, we highlighted today that he actually leads, our team, or is quite high up in our team in a lot of stats with only playing those 4, matches, or only starting those 4 matches. The guy's actually probably not really put much of a foot wrong. The only thing that he does sometimes is that he likes to maybe shove someone over right before they get, into our own box, which I will say maybe he's given away some, kind of scary penalty or some scary free kicks. But also as well, he's challenging, the likes of Højbjerg for the most yellow cards this season already, which I would love to see if he actually had more than Højbjerg at the end of the season. He's able to maybe give Højbjerg a bit more license to go forward. Højbjerg is practically better than anyone, I think, in our entire squad at winning the ball high up the pitch. It's what he did with Denmark multiple times. I think he had the best stats in that regard in terms of winning the ball high up the pitch. It gives kind of the best Højbjerg possible in our entire side. So Skippy, to a degree, it's almost like he does the most unselfish work in the entire side. He just does that as destroyer role. He's not bad at holding on to the ball and maybe surging the ball forward as well. I think it's just weird, Dave, that maybe we've actually forgotten that maybe Skippy kind of just plays that unselfish role in the squad. And you always need someone like that. You really do need someone like that's just willing to do the dirty work, willing to do the things that no other player probably wants to do. And he does it very, very well. And so I think that's the reason. And I'll stress again, our 2 most embarrassing defeats, to a degree, were without Skippy starting. So I think you just have to fit him in however you can. Yeah,
100%. Couldn't agree more. Like work says, Spurs 2, Aston Villa 2. Yeah, look, it definitely well could be shaping up like that. I'm going to go with Spurs win. I do think we'll win tomorrow. I hope we win tomorrow. I can't take another loss, just like you guys out there. A draw, I'll be honest with you, I wouldn't be too happy about.
No.
Unless it was absolutely daylight robbery.
We need 3. We need 3 points. We need 3 points. It's been too long.
No, it has been. But look, Josh, we spent 60 odd million on Ronald McDombele. You have Lo Celso, Copa America winner there. Why is it Skip is getting in the team ahead of these guys?
Because Skip's got tenacity, he's got the drive, he's got the determination to be a better player than those. The idea of there being multiple players in the position is that you have to fight for your place, and he's obviously fighting, and he's outperforming. When that loan spell he had at Norwich, he's come back a completely different player. The guy has come in, he gets stuck in harder than anybody else on that team, in my opinion. This is why the valid point was made that there's a reason that we haven't played well when he hasn't started.
Yeah,
it's because he has a different dynamic and a different dimension to that team, and he needs to start every week, in my opinion.
Even if we pull him off early, don't you think, Josh? Like, it's kind of crazy to sub him on. Maybe it should be the other way around, where we actually sub him off if we need to, get him off the pitch for someone more attacking.
You say that, but if we bring him on late in the game, it's either we keep him on for 70 minutes and then take him off for 20, or we keep him off for 70 and put him on for 20. I know I'd rather have the majority of him on the pitch than off.
There you go. There you go.
No, I'd agree. Well said. Look, Philip, same to you. Look, many people are touting this guy to be future Tottenham captain. What is it people are seeing in him to put that label on him?
Yeah, I mean, that's been said now for a season or so. Before he went out on loan to Norwich last season, it was mentioned that he was a future Spurs captain. Now, to me, where you hear this often used comment, the first name on the team sheet, right? Now, I know it's going to be Harry Kane for most people, but I think for tomorrow, the first name I put down on the team sheet is Oliver Skip.
Yeah.
We need him playing tomorrow. We need him like we've never needed him before. I mean, he's I don't know what it is about the lad. He's young. He's unaffected by the money and the fame that he's got. And he plays for the badge. He gives 100% all the time. He doesn't stroll around the pitch like some of the players I could mention, and probably will later on. He is Spurs through and through. He bleeds Spurs blood. And he'd die for the club. And that's the sort of player we want. He's not a mercenary. He's not there just for the money like other players we have on the books, unfortunately. And to me, he's so important, along with Højbjerg, to be in that midfield tomorrow. And let's put it like this, if he puts out a midfield like he did against Arsenal, I give up.
Yeah. If he does, there won't be any watch long tomorrow, guys. That's a promise. But look. For me, what I like about Skip is, and I've said this, and I'm going to keep saying it, is that he's proactive, not reactive. Too many times, and what actually gets him in ahead of the likes of an Ndombele, a Dele Alli, a Gio, in my opinion, is his work rate, his pure desire to win the ball over, do his job, play for Tottenham Hotspur, and give his very best for the crest and for the club and for the jersey. I think that's definitely what sets him apart at the minute. But he just has that unique ability of turning the ball over every time it comes near him. He's snapping at players' heels. He gets the ball turned over and he moves it on and gets us going again. And I think that's why he's crucial. But not only that, he sits in front of the back four. He protects it. He protects it. Like Nunos is asking him to do a specific job. He doesn't want him out there doing any of this fancy stuff going forward. He literally says to him, you sit in front of that back four, and then when the ball comes into the middle, I want you to go in and turn it over. And it's what he does, and he does it to perfection. And before he was dropped against Arsenal, people were starting to question Skip. And they were. It was out there. People saying, what does Skip bring? What does he offer? He's not as good as people are making him out to be. And then 45 minutes later, they're all sitting there, give me Skip. You know what I mean? You have to understand what his role is.
So many people slept on him. Many people slept on him, even last season. Like when he was performing in the reserves team, he was putting in performances week after week after week, and we sent him out on loan. And I think that loan spell was the best thing he ever did. Yeah. It made him a completely different player. He was pivotal. To Norwich's success. That's last season.
Yeah,
there's no denying that.
Yeah, I don't think Norwich would have been half as successful last season without Skip in the team. Yeah, he got the man of the match week after week. Now again, that could have been Spurs fans ringing in, but he still got man of the match. He missed a couple of games near the end of the season, I think, through injury. I think Norwich missed him badly, So, and they wanted him again this season. They wanted him, but thanks be to God, we saw the light and kept him.
Well, yeah, I'm glad we kept him. I'm glad because he's needed. He's 100% needed.
Look, I was calling for him to be recalled last season. I don't care how much you have to pay Norwich, recall him and get him into the team. But look, it's good to have him back and good to see him absolutely thriving in there, that's for sure. Everybody, 162 watching right now, make sure you are smashing that like button. Make sure you smash that subscribe button as well if you're new. And feel free to help support me and Jack with a super chat or two. It is a great way to support us. But Jack, back to you, man. Look, Gio had a very good game last time out against NS Mura. Now, I know, look, they're a pub team, let's be honest. We all know that. But would you put Gio back into this midfield, considering how hard the Aston Villa midfield works with Douglas Luiz and John McGinn in there? They do work incredibly hard, and that's why they're so hard to play against at times. Would you put Gio in there as your third man over an Ndombele and a Dele Alli just purely because of his work rate?
That's a really good point, Dave. And to be honest, I probably would. I think I could see the logic behind it. If I were to play, though, Højbjerg and Skippy together, I think I would actually probably still maybe give Tanguy potentially another chance, especially since Tanguy's going to be at home. But maybe I might just say, to give Gio a bit of respect. I thought Gio had, as good of a performance as really, as, of course, it being, a Slovenian fifth place team, in the league. They did win the league the season before NS Mura, but I think Gio had the best game he possibly could have had. And we saw maybe the difference that happened when he moved from right wing to maybe that center mid number 6, kind of number 8 position, maybe. And we just saw, the results. He was able to provide so many opportunities. He had that fantastic finish, of course, but what comes to mind, Dave, is there's so many times when he was playing in Sonny in behind, because he is a left-footed player. So there are moments when he would receive it from Sonny for a 1-2, or he would receive it from Sonny or from Reguilón for, a pass, and he would just be able to instantly play it on the floor, in between the lines to the likes of Sonny going in behind. It actually kind of makes sense to a degree, him kind of setting up in that kind of left-sided area as a bit of a number 8 or a number 6. He has obviously plenty more work rate than the likes of Tanguy. But maybe now I might just go back and say, if we are playing Skippy and Højbjerg together, I think I would still go for Tanguy, because I think his ability to be able to skin a man, his ability to be able to create something out of nothing, I think is still better than majority of players in our entire squad. Of course, he's an absolute liability tracking back. But if we do actually play Skippy this time, and we haven't really seen Tanguy and Skippy really on the same field, maybe apart from, I think, the Wolves match. And I would just say, that's what we have to take into consideration is, maybe when we protect, Tanguy's lackadaisical nature when maybe tracking back, we actually can maybe get the best out of him. And I would say the best Tanguy going forward is actually still better than Gio going forward. But, to maybe go back to your point, Dave, with the question, Gio certainly offers a much better work rate. And if he is a bit in form, if he is kind of feeling himself and being able to be a bit more creative and actually have a bit more end product, it's probably hard not to say no to Gio. So I still would go for Tanguy, though. I'd probably just to maybe spice things up. I would still go for Skippy, Højbjerg, and Tanguy.
That's just because you're a Tanguy fan. Look, for me, I'll be honest with you. Look, I think Tanguy's had his chance. I
would just maybe say, he hasn't played in the Premier League yet with Skippy and Højbjerg, with him on the same pitch. So that would be my argument. But I can see
he doesn't deserve to. He doesn't deserve to play there, man. He doesn't deserve to play in the same team.
I don't think Dele does, though. That's the other thing.
His heart's not in it. He wants to go. He's made his feelings perfectly clear. Gio puts that shirt on and he runs rings. He's up and down that pitch more up and down more than a yo-yo. But Tanguy just doesn't. His heart's not there.
I think what Jack is trying to say is maybe play him in number 10 with Højbjerg and Skip behind him without getting him to kind of
enough protection for him,
like that, and have the protection for him. Would you agree with that, Josh, or still just don't want to?
He needs to prove himself. If anything, what we should have done is we should have played him in that Europa Conference match, and benched Gio for tonight, for tomorrow. Sorry, in my opinion.
Yeah, no, fair point. So you want Gio in there tomorrow?
100%, 100%. I don't think Tanguy deserves the opportunity, mate. To be honest.
Yeah. No, look, for me, I'm kind of done with Tanguy, to be honest with you. But look, I can't see where Jack is coming from. Maybe if you could get him just to do that attacking role and not do the defensive role. But Josh, why is it you want Gio in there? Is it just because of his good performance during the week, or is there more to it?
There's more to it. There's more to it. The guy is brilliant. He's a fantastic player, and we haven't had any problems with him at all whatsoever. I think he's had one performance that I can think of where we've been like, okay, but he hasn't. We're not sitting there, oh, for God's sake, he's on the pitch again like we are with Tanga that we have been. Gio's got a really good work rate. He puts the shot and he puts the shot and he loves the club and just wants to play football, and that's what we want. We want someone that wants to play to win.
Yeah, no, 100%. Look, with Gio, I have my reservations as well. I'll be honest with you. I haven't been impressed with him since he got here. I still can't get out the images of him running the ball out against Leeds. Honestly, between Dele, Lo Celso, and Ronald McDombele, it's literally like, who's going to give you more on the day because they're all bad. But look, Philip, Gio, Ali, and Ndombele, who you playing in that midfield with Højbjerg and Skip?
Gio. And that's not just based on what is probably the best pass played at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium this season was the one for Kane's third goal. That was sublime how he picked that pass. I know they're only playing a bunch of farmers, but he still had to see where Kane's run was going to. It could have been that pass to be made against Barcelona or Real Madrid. They'd be raving about it. It was a brilliant pass. His whole game, once the three boys came on as subs, Son, Lucas, and Kane, it's as if someone flicked a light switch in Gio's head. Because for that last 30 minutes, he put in the best performance he's had for Spurs in a long, long time. And tomorrow, I think put him in front of the two boys, put him in the number 10 role in front of Skip and Højbjerg. Now, Ndombele possibly to come on as an impact sub 20 minutes from the end if we need him to. But I think Gio has deserved his start. Ndombele, I think, hasn't. I mean, he's been flattering to deceive. He gives us one good game and then goes back to his old tricks again. So no, I would certainly give Gio. Like I put it like this: Gio will be gutted if he doesn't start tomorrow after his performance on Thursday.
Yeah, that's true.
And,
it'd be a bit of a kick in the teeth. It'd be like starting Kane over Moore in the Champions League final
would.
again, wouldn't it?
Well, it wouldn't be quite as drastic as that, but it would be an awful blow to his confidence. We need confidence and we need flair players at the moment. We're crying out for someone who can pick a pass, and he showed on Thursday he can pick a pass. Like so can Tanguy, but I would go for Gio tomorrow, start, and hopefully prove me right.
No, look, do you know what it is? Nuno's not in a position to be able to drop players that are kind of performing at the minute. Especially players that have that creativity. I'll be honest with you, I would actually rather throw Gill in there than any of them three, to be honest with you.
100%.
Than Gio, Ndombele, and Lo Celso.
The Brian Gill masterclass is yet to make his dominance known in the Premier League.
I'm telling you, it's going to happen. It's only a matter of time. It will happen. I would genuinely throw him in over the other three. Look, Ndombele, I don't know how many chances we have to give that fat fucker, and he can't get fit. I don't know how many chances we have to give Gio Lo Celso, before he actually starts producing on a more consistent basis rather than against a pub team.
Yeah.
And Dele Alli, I've washed my hands with that guy.
Clearly, we're all against Dele.
I think the only thing that Dele Alli and Ndombele can give to this team right now is a hefty sum of money when we sell him in January.
I wouldn't say that about Dele, but maybe in the case of.
Well, I mean, you get what you probably get collectively. What 55, 60 mil for him collectively.
No. One thing I just slightly worried me about Thursday night. I thought Brian Hill was going to go on and tear them apart. Not once did he try and get past his fullback. Every time he got the ball, he was playing it backwards to Reguilon and maybe going for the return ball.
Maybe that's the tactic that Nuno wanted.
Maybe
we can't tell.
He didn't do himself any favours, like being subbed after an hour. I was expecting more from him. Now, maybe it wasn't just his night, but I can take your point. Hill is going to be a class player for us, but I think tomorrow might not be the day to put him into that number 10 role.
No, that's a fair shout, actually. That's a fair shout. Just quickly, just to retort on that, Philip. Look, I get what you're saying about Brian Hill, but I genuinely believe like he was the only one actually trying to make things happen before the changes came about. In my opinion, of course, you have Gio there, but apart from Gio, for me, I think he probably was the only other one trying to make things happen. And for me, when I was looking at it, and just thinking these lads are not on his level. They don't think as quick of him. They don't want.
That's true. But I suppose what he was doing was making the pass, making the run, and they weren't picking his run.
Yeah.
So another then he paid the price for that.
Yeah.
And that's how he was subbed off, you know.
And Dane Scarlett paid the price as well. You know, with them not being able to find his runs as well.
Exactly.
Price against Pacos. And no, look, I'm putting it down to that the rest of them players are not on his level. They don't think as quick as him. They can't play as quick as him. That's where I'm at. But Paul Markey says Gio has consistently been played out of position. Yeah. Jack, go on, take it away. I know you're dying for this one.
I mean, this is the part where I must concede, and I think this is, potentially my way. Maybe Gio deserves more of a chance than maybe we've highlighted than the likes of Tanguy, Deli, etc. With some of those other ones, it seems like Gio has just constantly been playing, roles that maybe are just he's not as comfortable with. Potentially not good enough, maybe you might even say, in the Premier League. And maybe if we can finally put him in more of kind of a box-to-box creative kind of number 8 kind of role, number 6 kind of role, more of like a number 8, I would say, I think he would actually really thrive. And like I said before, he is actually left-footed if he were to play on the left side. And we saw some of the balls he was able to slip in behind. You might even say that, even Deli, we know Deli would never be able to do it. And we know Tanguy probably would have to, dwell on the ball a bit more because he needs to have at least 7 touches before he plays that pass. So you definitely consider that Gio probably has been played out of possession. And Paul Markey has been saying that, maybe from his PSG days, where he was kind of learning to be a number 8 or a number 6, it's where he actually had, a huge development. At Real Betis, he played a variety of positions and had tons of success. So maybe you're right. Maybe Paul Markey, I think he's kind of been the first one to say this, that the only reason Gio has kind of been disappointing us so much is potentially just because he's been playing a variety of positions that aren't very comfortable to him or don't really bring the best out of his ability.
No, yeah, that's fair. Yeah, no. Big up Paul Markey. Really appreciate support. Agree music. Look, I can see what you're saying, but at the end of the day, I'm not going to suck them off if they don't deserve it, to be honest with you. They've been absolutely shit. Tell me what I'm supposed to piss about some of these guys, please. You give me good constructive praise that I can give some of these guys. I will give it. Everyone knows I will praise these players to the hilt sometimes, even when they don't deserve it. But on recent form, I'm not going to sit there and give them praise when they don't deserve it. And I'll tell you why. Because that's why they're giving us the shit they're giving us. Because Ali, especially Ndombele, they have people in the club, oh, you're great, you're this, you're that, and we'll not tell them the homegrown truth. And that's why they perform shit. Look, people said to me with Ali, Jose dropped him, he was too mean on him. They needed someone like Nuno to come in and butter his balls and give him praise and we'll get the best Ali. Well, where is it? You can do whatever you want with these guys. They're finished goods, in my opinion.
There's got to be a medium, isn't there? Like Jose Mourinho bollocked him to hill and high water, and Nuno's come in and basically just sucked him off and given him an Andy at the same time. There's got to be that medium where you penalise the players, but at the same time you praise them for what they do well. Which, as fans, that's what we should be doing: praising the players what they do when they do play well, and criticising them when they don't. And that's exactly. I mean, Dave, you're probably one of the most positive Spurs fans I've ever come across. And for you to sit here and slate the team and penalise them, that says a lot. That says a lot.
It kills me, but at the end of the day, I am finished sucking these players off when they don't deserve it because all they do is let me down. They break my heart. Not just me, everyone on this panel and every Spurs fan out there. They let us down and break our hearts time and time and time again. And I've had enough. I'm not going to sit there and praise them when they don't deserve it. It's that simple. I'm not going to do it. Faz Radfar says, would Scarlett benefit going on loan as a soul striker?
Yes.
100%. But what happens if Harry Kane gets injured?
This is why we need to bring in. This is when we need to think about bringing a player in January.
If they sent him out on January, if Scarlett goes on loan in January, there has to be a signing made before he goes on loan. Not send them on loan and hope.
This is what I'm saying. This is what I'm saying. No. We need to make a signing in the striking position before we send out Scarlett on loan. Yeah. But to answer that question, would Scarlett benefit going out on loan? 100%. If you give him Championship League One experience, he'll come back a better player. He isn't going to get first team football at Spurs. We know that for a fact. And the same was for Oliver Skipp. He wasn't going to get first team football until he went out on loan, and he's come back, and now look at him.
Troy Parrott is the one I'm watching. He's out on loan now with MK Dons, and he's scoring a few. Yeah. So let's hope now that this is doing well for him, because he's in the middle of a rut at the moment.
Yeah. But you know what I would say? Do you know where I'm at with Dane Scarlett, right? Is yes, he would benefit from going out on loan, right? But we didn't get in the quality backup striker that we needed. Not a Vinicius, a quality backup striker. We didn't get that in. Dane Scarlett has been touted from last year. Even Joseph said this guy will be in and around the first team next season. He's in and around the first team. But see, the thing is, you can play him in the likes against Pacos de Ferreira, but there is no point in playing him up top when you have a midfielder like Harry Winks in there. There's just no point, because he's not going to get the service. It's that simple. Winks will slow the ball down, wait for everyone to get back so he can see the game in front of him, or else he'll pass it sideways. There is no point in playing Dane Scarlett with a midfielder like Harry Winks in there. And that's just my opinion on it. I don't think he's good enough.
I'll tell you
go on.
I've lost my train of thought here now. What was I going to say? Oh, yeah. There's one player playing tomorrow who should be in our squad, and he's playing for the opposition. That's Danny Ings. We should have snapped him up during the summer.
Yes.
Yeah.
But who saw him going to Villa? Who saw him going to Villa? No one. Nobody. It was just out of the blue.
And he was 25 million. That's peanuts.
I just want to bring your attention to a comment that was made by Ken Memmett. No, Levy, don't buy a striker. You will tell Nuno to play Ben Davies up front and save a bit of money.
Yeah, it's true.
That's the mentality. That's the mentality of the board now.
No, it's true. It's true. It's shocking. Brian C says, lads, the mentality and heart of the players selected tomorrow may be as or more important than the formation. I want to see us outwork Villa tomorrow and see the running stats to prove it. Look, I'm going to have a quick spiel. I'm going to pass it over to Jack. Look, for me, Brian C, we have to start the game fast tomorrow and with the right attitude. Because if not, Villa will go 1 or 2 up very, very quickly. They will start fast. I've watched them. They will start fast. And plus, any team coming to Tottenham now, especially for the next while until we put it right ourselves, are always going to come at us and start quickly because they know there's a chink in the armour. They're going to try and get at us quickly and try and get the game over as quick as possible. So I agree with you. It's important we start fast tomorrow, but with the right attitude, desire, the hunger, and the want for 3 points. Jack, what would you say to Brian C?
I mean, as it's been brought up before, as much as you can get the tactics right, you have to also get the mentality right, and you have to get the heart right. You have to select the right sort of players that will continue, to put in a shift, especially for home fans, Dave, especially for the home crowd. You have to put in the players that, will do us right. The players that even if they're not, let's say, having the best game of their lives or in any way having, let's say the best game, they're going to be putting in the heart. They're going to be working for each other. There are a lot of players in that squad that we're not confident about that you could probably do that. So as much as you can try to get the tactics right, you have to select the right sort of players. And, even the right formation, might also not even be as important when it comes to the right personnel that you select for that match. I would just say, especially in the likes of Villa, they probably are one of the most hardest working teams, probably in the Premier League, especially they even made a bit of at least Dean Smith, he kind of sacrificed maybe some of the attacking talent that he's kind of brought in, for a bit more cohesion, a bit more kind of camaraderie or teamwork in the side. They started with that 4-1-4-1 or 4-2-3-1, various formations of a 4 in the back, and it just wasn't working, for them. Actually, they actually were getting exposed a lot. And now they've, switched to that 3 in the back to that 5 in the back and have kind of sacrificed the likes of Buendia, Traore, and other players that we know that, they have, of course, Leon Bailey's been kind of dealing with injury struggles, but kind of consider that he's even been left on the bench before just so that Dean Smith could know that, the right message is getting across and that, the players are working for each other and they have a bit more cohesion. Probably Nuno could take a page out of that book. You might say, as much as we want to start all the caliber names, the star caliber names in our squad, we have to realize which players are actually going to put in the shift, not only for each other, but also for the fans, especially a home crowd, Dave. And also, especially since Nuno has the pressure on him, which players can he trust? I think that's also has to come into play. So, Brian, I really do agree with you 1,000%. Big up, Socrates.
Yeah. Big yourself up, Socrates. Really appreciate the support, my man. What a legend. The philosopher of Brian, absolutely love it. Thank you so much for the support. Everyone else out there, make sure you're smashing that like button. Let's get it to 150 likes. We're on like 76 right now. Let's get it to 150. Definitely achievable. 183 in the house right now. Make sure you're smashing that subscribe button if you are new. And also feel free. The chat is absolutely hopping, guys. It is hopping. I am struggling to keep up. Super chat is the way to go right now. We will get straight to your comment and we will discuss it. Look, don't worry. I will keep bringing up everyone's comment as always. But look, if you want to jump the queue, guys, super chat is the way to go. Lightwork says Levy has to give a big transfer budget to rebuild. Yeah, he does, but he's not going to. He's not going to. So we're at the point now where we just need to bring in the best players. We just need to bring in the best players for the money we're given now. That's the point we're at.
His pockets are too deep. We all know that the only way we're going to get a decent window is when ENIC are finally out.
Yeah.
That's gonna be the next. That's gonna be the next time we get a decent window.
Yeah.
No, I agree. Big up, Lightwork. Really appreciate the super chat, my man. Big yourself up. Well, guys, look, I have a question here. I only want one of you to answer it, so I'm going to put it out there. Whoever wants to take it, because after that we have a couple
hands at the buzzers.
That would probably just be that little bit longer. Look, guys, Villa have got 21 corners in the last 3 games. And I know people might be sitting there going, why is Dave going on about corners? Because we're fucking shit at defending them. That's why. Wolves, we conceded. Chelsea, we conceded. The other day, we conceded off a corner kick. We're shocking at conceding them. And if Villa was smart tomorrow, they know this is the way to go against Tottenham. Get the balls out wide, get the corners, get them in the box. They will see credit from it. But, guys, why are we so shit at defending set pieces? We were also shit at it last year. Why haven't we rectified the problem?
Because there's no settled defensive set formation. If you have 2 centre-backs that are playing together regularly, they'll know what to do. They will have studied the opposition's corner-taking routines. They will know exactly where to be, what to do, get rid of the ball. The other thing is not to give away any stupid corners. No back passes going out wide of the goalkeeper and stuff like that. But no, I think we've got to get a settled defence. If you have 4 players playing together regularly, they'll know what to do. If you have 4 players swapping and changing every other week, they won't, and we're going to get punished again. So settled back 4 is what we need to get, and then the results will show for themselves. We won't be letting in goals from corners.
Good answer, lad. To be fair, I thought I jumped a few years on it. But good, a great answer, Philip, I have to say. I love it. Kuva99 with the super chat. Jack, this is for you. He says, Jack, any tips on making my own Nuno tactics video? I'm thinking of shooting it while drinking vodka on a moving roundabout with a box of Lego. What would you say to him?
It seemed like that's how Nuno went about it last match on Sunday. It really did seem like that's how he approached it. Just seemed to, practically be, making the tactics board while maybe just driving a golf cart on maybe that, box of Legos and vodka. So I would just say maybe not the best way to go about it. What I would just say to Nuno next time, just maybe a nice fancy Porto, wine, that he's probably plenty familiar with, being a Portuguese man himself. And then I would just say, probably take a look at maybe that 3 in the back, 5 in the back that gave him so much success, with Wolves. Of course, he was, familiar with the 4 in the back with Valencia and had success with it. But then again, it just does not seem to be working for him so far in the Premier League, at least with Spurs. So I would just say Nuno, maybe not the vodka and Legos this time. I would just say probably a bit of Porto wine, maybe a bit of Tetris, and just build out maybe the Stats with Jack. Maybe just enjoy the Stats with Jack video with a bit of Porto wine, Nuno, and then just go about it from there. I really would say, though, just for this match, Kuva, I really think he should go to the back 5, the back 3. I know the 4-2-3-1 is what Spurs are familiar with. I know that's the attacking kind of aesthetic that we prefer. It's actually what I prefer probably as well, at least for Spurs, but it just doesn't seem like Nuno at the moment is really capable of it. And especially when maybe the pressure is on, when he needs the result, Kuva, I would just say the Porto wine and a bit of Stats with Jack is all he needs.
Nah, big up, Kuva. Really appreciate the support, my man. Really, it's gratefully appreciate. Everyone else, feel free to get the support in. Guys, 2 questions left. The first one is on Harry Kane, and then the last one is on Nuno. I left him to last because they're probably the most debatable questions there. Look, Kane did score a hat-trick against NS Mora. Look, he still has yet to score in the Premier League. I see a lot of people lately, even after the Mora game, saying they still want to drop Harry Kane this weekend, put him on the bench. For me, look, I think it's suicidal if Nuno does that. I think his job will be gone. Look, I can understand why they're saying it, because his 2 best games have been from coming off the bench this season, NS Mora and the Wolves game. So I do understand what they're saying about his best appearances have been the best coming off the bench. But for me, you play Harry Kane. He's off the back of a hat-trick. You play a player that's in confidence. But look, we'll go to you first on this one, Josh. Look, first of all, where do you stand on the Kane situation? And do you agree with people saying that they will drop him tomorrow?
It's all well and good saying that he should come onto the field bouncing off the back of a hat trick, which should be really, really confident. But let's not forget the fact he did score 2 past Pacos Ferreira and still did diddly squat, still did absolutely jack shit. If he comes on, he needs to score, and he needs to score early, so we get that confidence boost all the way through the game.
Just on that, Josh, do you think the reason why he isn't performing is, look, for me, I've played up front. If there's no balls coming into the box or no balls going in behind, there's nothing you can do. But like for me, I guess what I'm saying is there's no service coming to him. Do you think that's
no? But you make yourself available. We've said he's shown the ability to make himself available and find himself in space, like with the Son and Kane partnership. We saw that where he would find himself in space and then pass the ball on. He needs to make himself available. And he needs to get himself into that space. But at the moment, we just see him being surrounded by defenders left, right, and centre with absolutely no desperation to move. He needs to find himself in that space. And I think if he's going to score, if we're going to get anything out of him, he needs to find himself in that space early. We need to get a goal early and hope that and pray that we get a few more out of him.
Yeah, interesting. Jack, I'll go to Philip last. Look, Harry Kane, do you play him tomorrow, D, or not?
I think you do, Dave. And, maybe I might disappoint Dark Sun G, where we've seen actually, the best of Harry Kane be that impact sub. But I would just probably argue, in Harry Kane's case, at maybe fresh off a hat trick, you just kind of have to play him. Like maybe potentially we're now seeing, maybe just more of just a better Harry Kane. I think I could agree with some of the rumors that he doesn't seem to be, too into it this season. But at the same time, you can't deny the world-class ability as well, though. If we do see him, playing alongside Sonny, it is kind of the best way to go about it. Again, I'll stress again, if we do kind of match their formation with kind of somewhat of a 3 in the back, 5 in the back, I personally just think you have to have some sense of Sonny and Kane up top. We know it's the best striking combination in the Premier League from last season. Can we see it again this season to the same extent? Probably not, but I still think that was there for a reason. As much as Jose, maybe saw that maybe other managers didn't. I would just argue that, Harry Kane has world-class ability in finding Son, and Son also has world-class ability in finding Kane. We saw that where he's able to put balls across the box, across the 6, that, with his left foot, right foot, in ways that maybe no other player can. Also, just Harry Kane, he almost to a degree knows how to find players, when with a type of pass that no other striker could even dream of trying to do. He knows that he needs other players like Sonny and stuff around him. Maybe that just shows he's a bit dependent on other players, but at the same time, the finishing ability and also the distribution ability, I think, is second to none. And we're only going to see more of it, if you ask me. And I think you just have to play him in some sense alongside Sonny, maybe alongside Lucas as well. Maybe with that, the 3 up front. I think, again, it could work out quite well. I just feel like Harry Kane, the ability is always there, whether his heart is in it or not. I think the world-class ability is still there. I just feel like you have to play him, especially fresh off the hat trick, Dave. And also to a degree, maybe like how there's pressure on Nuno, there still is pressure on Kane in the Premier League. I wouldn't write him off too soon yet, and so I think it's just another opportunity for him to maybe just prove maybe the doubters wrong.
Yeah, 100%. Look, Philip, we'll get your answer as well, and then I'm going to go off on one.
Right. You're an Aston Villa player. You're sitting in the dressing room at 1 o'clock tomorrow, and the Spurs team sheet comes round, and Harry Kane's not playing. What's your reaction?
Oh, you're going to be late.
Tear the fucking roof off the place.
Oh, the reaction is going to be, oh, Harry Kane's not playing this.
Exactly. They are going to be. That's going to pump them up before they even get on the pitch. Harry Kane has to start tomorrow. There's no doubt if he doesn't start tomorrow, it'll be the greatest cock-up of Nuno's managerial career, regardless of what club he's been at. Yeah. You're coming off the back of a hat trick. Okay, it's against a team which you'd be expected to score against. But the movement, the speed of thought, and the anticipation was there on Thursday night. That hasn't really been there for the rest of the season. He's getting his mojo back. And I would expect if he can, all he wants to do. Okay, it used to be a case that Harry Kane could never score in August. He got rid of that. Unfortunately, now he's never scored in September either in the league. September's gone now. I expect Harry Kane to come out pumping tomorrow afternoon. Okay, the disappointment of not going to City. Surely he's got over that by now. You know, we're 6 or 7 games into the season. He should be getting to somewhere back near his sublime best. We saw a bit of it on Thursday night. I'm expecting him to start tomorrow, and I'm expecting him to score tomorrow.
Love
and
it.
when he does, that could be the floodgates starting for the rest of the season. All he wants is a kickstart. He's got it in the League Cup. He's got it in the conference. All he needs is in the Premiership. And when that comes, we got our Harry back.
No, I absolutely love to see it. I love to hear it, Philip. It's music to my ears, lad. No, look, for me, honestly, I don't know. This wouldn't go on at any other club in world football where you're talking about dropping your most prolific striker. It wouldn't. This conversation would not happen. It wouldn't. Look, for me, Harry Kane, he's no matter what, he's always started slow, but he's always finished our top scorer. No matter how many goals people get ahead of him, he's always finished our top scorer. He's our best creative player from last season. Now, we're a fan base. Go mad about the creativity coming from midfield, right? Now, if we already know there's no creativity in midfield, how the fuck do we expect Harry Kane to score goals if there's no ball coming to him? There's no service. There's no balls coming in from out wide into the box. There's no balls being played in behind for him. And any ball that is played to him is about 10 feet up in the fucking air. What's the guy supposed to do with that? Honestly, I'm fed up with this conversation about Harry Kane. For me, Harry Kane starts all day long. He will get you the goals. He's off the back of a hat-trick, and we still want fans to drop him. Now, there are some fans who genuinely believe in it, but then there's other fans who are saying it just to suit a narrative, and I'm fed up with it. I've had enough with the whole Harry Kane thing. At the end of the day, he's your best striker. We're sitting here complaining about goals. We have no other striker at the club, and we're talking about dropping him. Yeah. You know, I think it's absolute. I do. I think it's absolute madness. This guy will end up finishing our top scorer this season, without a shadow of a doubt. He will get the goals. But you can't expect him to get goals if there's no service. You look at every other striker in this league so far, Ronaldo, Lukaku, and everything. Look at the service they're getting. Look at the service they're getting compared to what Harry Kane's getting. What can he do with a ball, especially against Palace? Ball lumped up long to him, 3 big guys around him, no one getting up to, even if he does win it or knock it down. There's no one up there to be able to compete for the second ball, or if he does take it down for him to pass to, because they're all so far sitting back. There's only so much the guy can do. I get it. People are disappointed with the guy and his actions over the summer. Rightly so. I'm not going to condemn you for that whatsoever. But moving forward, just because of what he done in the summer, he like, you know, I get it. But it doesn't warrant him to be dropped and people to be calling for him to be dropped every single game. We're already crying about goals and everything else. Nuno takes him out. He's gone. Every manager knows that comes in. The minute you don't play Kane, he's gone. Now, I know some people are saying you need to grow a set of bollocks and drop Kane. It's not the Harry Kane team. No, it's not. But if you want to fucking finish anywhere in the top half 10 of the table, you have to play Harry Kane. It's that simple. It's that simple.
There's not a striker on earth that hasn't gone through a bad patch. It happens. It's not physically possible to keep your standards up for every game, every season. And let's not forget, bad and all as Harry has technically been this season, he still scored 6 goals already. When you think about it.
Yeah, that's it. I think he's already our top scorer already. You know, and people could say, oh, look who he scored against. Yeah, but other players have had that opportunity. Have they scored? No.
Put him in tomorrow and let's see him do the business. And hopefully it's the last time we have to make this discussion up about Harry Kane and what he's doing for the club.
No, I hope so, because honestly, I do be pulling my hair out. When I hear people on other channels and everything else, yeah, we need to drop Harry Kane. I'm sitting there, I'm like, what world are we living in? And then in the same breath, they'll talk about creativity or lack of creativity and everything else. And I'm sitting there, I'm like, listen to yourself, please. Listen to yourself. You complain about lack of creativity and lack of goals, and you want to drop our striker who had the most assists and the most goals last season. Honestly, I do not understand it. I know I'm Harry Kane's biggest fan in world football. I get that. But the conversation surrounding dropping him, and especially off the back of a hat-trick, it's absolutely insane. It's madness. I've played as a striker. If you get dropped after playing a hat-trick, you will never be the same, or you will never, ever play the same for that manager ever again. And I can guarantee you that now. You will not. At the end of the day, the guy has to play. He's going to score the goals, and that's it. 3 points incoming tomorrow. And I want everyone back here thanking me for what I said about Harry Kane when he delivers the 3 points tomorrow with his goals. That's what I say. Because I'm sick of this conversation about Harry Kane. I'm sick of it. This conversation and, we need to sell Kane, we need to do this. This would not happen at any other top club around world football. See, Bayern Munich fans saying we have to sell Lewandowski. Do you see Chelsea fans saying they need to sell Lukaku? See United fans saying they need to sell Ronaldo? You know, and I could go on and on and on. It doesn't happen. So why are we doing it at this club? I get we're pissed off with the management. I get we're pissed off with the owners. But why are we talking about this at this club? We're in a position where you need all your best players and all hands to the pump. So let's drop this whole dropping Harry Kane crack and you know, sell him just to devalue the club and everything else. Fuck it. I couldn't care less. I want him to play and I want him to score goals. He will get goals. People saying he's checked out. Why did he score a hat-trick the other night if he was checked out? He wouldn't have made them runs to be able to score them goals if he was checked out. He's not checked out. He just starts slow like he always does. I don't know why people are surprised about it. But look, guys, I've had my say on Harry Kane. I don't know whether people agree or disagree, but let me know in the comments, please. But guys, moving on.
David, just one thing before you go there. See that last 2 minutes of your speech there. You should put that onto a memory stick and send it to Harry Kane. So he listens to it before the match tomorrow, and I guarantee you he'll score a hat-trick. That was brilliant, man. Well done.
Thank you. I really appreciate it. Honestly, it's something I've held off on for a little while but I've got to the point where I've had enough of it, Philip, and I can't do it any longer. I cannot listen to people talking about dropping Kane and in the same breath talking about creativity and lack of goals. I can't do it. It's insane.
Good point as well.
Moving on, guys. Moving on. Last question of the evening. It's about Nuno. Now, look, I'll be honest with you. I do not want to... I will always give a manager a chance. I'm not one of these guys. I'll be honest. I didn't want Nuno when he was first, you know, touted to come to Tottenham. I made it clear I didn't want him. But when he comes to the club, I'm not going to sit here and cry about it. I'm going to get behind the guy and see what he can do for Tottenham Hotspur. Now, look, for me, I actually don't want to be having this conversation so early into his reign, but there's a lot wrong right now, and he is a part of the problem right now. I have to say it. For me, he doesn't know his best 11. He doesn't even, like Philip was alluding to earlier, he doesn't have a settled back four. He can't get any of the guys in midfield going. You know, Harry Kane, who's one of the most prolific strikers in the world, you can't even get service to him. So, look, and I do think a lot of the tactics are wrong, especially against the Arsenal game. Why put Ndombele and Dele Alli in midfield and then play a long ball? Surely if you're playing them in midfield, you play through them. So there is a lot wrong on Nuno's behalf at the minute. I'll be honest, I'm going to say this again, guys. I do not want to be talking about this. But if we're being honest as Spurs fans, I think we have to have the conversation. And look, for me, I think there's an international break-up after the Villa game. I think if we don't get the desired result, I'll be honest with you, I think his head's on the block, and I would go with the twist. I wouldn't stick, I would twist, and I would get rid of him and try and bring someone else in. I know a lot of people are saying, you know, who else is out there, but that's why you don't sack him until you get the right man in place, and then you can let him go. For me, I'm just not sure if he's the right man to continue this on, and that's where I'm at. But look, it's not about me, it's about the panel. So Jack, you take it away, my man.
I think you touched it there, Dave. I mean, he's kind of failed us tactically. There have been moments when we've just been, you know, kind of exposed, you know, on Sky Sports for, you know, people saying, you know, with high, you know, voices like Jamie Carragher saying, you know, why is he doing it this way? You know, why is he setting up the squad this way? We've also, you know, heard and seen practically David as well. He doesn't seem to motivate the players to a degree. You know, if you have that combination there, that's a very dangerous combination. If the players aren't really working for him, if the players aren't running for him, but then as well, if it seems like he's getting the tactics wrong, Dave, I mean, those are practically your two biggest responsibilities as a manager. So when you think about it that way, yeah, his head would be on the chopping block because you have to get one of those right. You know, you might give a good example about it. Like even when Diego Simeone or whatever puts up, you know, the ugliest of tactics, you know, the tactics that probably no player would ever get behind, you can still see that the players are absolutely running for him and running for the club and putting, you know, the shirt on their, or the badge on their sleeve, you know, wearing, you know, just wearing the kit with pride, Dave. And so we haven't really seen that. I think that falls on Nuno. The tactics, of course, would fall on Nuno. When you take those two into consideration, you would have to say that, you know, if he doesn't get it right Sunday, yeah, I mean, what else can I mean, he's going to have to look at it that way. He probably would have to maybe be considered being let go. Of course, maybe there aren't you know, great replacements, but I would say it's not like the case of Jose or something like that, where we know that in the case of Jose, look, he could get us, you know, certain results when we do need it. He can maybe motivate the squad and pick the right squad when we need it. I can't really say that with confidence anymore with Nuno. I tried to give Nuno, you know, probably the biggest welcoming on this channel with, you know, our breakdown of Nuno, probably since, you know, the City match, even I would say since the Wolves match. it's kind of disappointed in that regard, Dave. And I'll just stress it again. If you're not motivating the players and you're not getting the tactics right, those are practically your two biggest responsibilities as manager. And he doesn't certainly help himself in the media either, as much as I kind of actually get a kick out of him being so boring in the media and being so kind of blasé and, being so passive aggressive with them. Doesn't really serve him very great there either. So in a way, he's kind of just been hurting himself in a lot of different ways. Of course, we probably would say, if he were to get a great result against Villa, maybe a lot of it's repaired. But if he doesn't get a good result against Villa, again, at home as well, I would say there isn't a lot defending him.
No, I couldn't agree more. Look, I'm finding it more and more hard to defend the guy day in, day out. Jack, just before we move on, what is it that you see that you feel he's not motivating the players?
I mean, yeah, that's true. I mean, to be honest, I think a lot of people.
No, I agree with you. I'm just thinking, like, what is it you're seeing that you feel he's not motivating the players?
A lot of people have touched on it before, and I'll probably agree with them and say that there's no real barking from the sideline, when we need it, when you're 2-0 down, 3-0 down. I mean, he just kind of does sit there with his arms folded. The body language seems to be all off. Maybe he seems like he is a very stoic man. He does have the best beard in the entire Premier League. But as well, you can't just be continuing to stroke the beard and just, pretend that you're thinking of something when you're not actually telling the players anything as well. Also, you would say is, we went into certain matches, Dave, where he probably had the opportunity to motivate the players at halftime to maybe produce an entirely different performance. And we haven't necessarily seen that either. We probably saw with other managers in the past where sure, we might have one bad half, but we'll have a much better second half. Can't really say that that's actually been the case with Nuno. We've weirdly had either a pretty poor first half and then we almost have an even worse second half, at times. So you take that into consideration. Like I said before, doesn't really, seem to be a very vocal person on the sidelines where maybe not a lot of players listen to the manager. But even from a fan's perspective, Dave, it's hard to watch, a guy just watch his team be beat 3-0 like that. It kind of, the way he looks at it, the way he kind of acts on the sidelines is how we kind of feel probably sitting behind a screen, watching the match, and we're probably even barking more orders that they're able to hear than him. And to me, I think that's just what it is. And also as well, it seems like, maybe the likes of Harry Kane, potentially Tanguy, other players, they don't seem to be particularly motivated. I would say in Tanguy's case, he's had way too many managers, to try to motivate him. So it's not an excuse, but you would just say that it just seems like, also as well, maybe final touch on him, Dave. He hasn't really played the likes of Romero. Probably want to see Hill play a bit more. You did kind of take that into consideration as well. It just seems like, is he really motivating the players? Is he really the one that they would probably fight for? Does not seem like that. The body language as well, maybe final point. Every single time we concede a goal, Dave, the heads really go down. I mean, the heads all like in unison go down, almost like it's an orchestra or something, Dave. And that's what I would say is maybe a really bad sign. Any team that is fighting for their manager, any team that is fighting for their club, they go 1-0 down. They're barking at each other, telling each other what to do better, what we need, what went wrong. We don't even see that. So a lot of signs of maybe him not motivating the players. And as well, we've already exposed before maybe what he's got wrong tactically. So like I said, Dave, it's kind of a double whammy.
No, I couldn't agree more. Excellent answer there, Jack. I have to say, excellent answer. Look, Josh, take it away. Where do you stand in the whole Nuno thing, my man?
I think it's a good case of 6 of one, half a dozen of the other, in the sense of like, he's not the right man for the job. We know that he's not the right man for the job, and I don't think any Spurs fan in their right mind wants him as a long-term solution. But at the same time, who else is there?
Yeah,
we're not going to get anyone that is at the same level as Nuno, let alone someone better than Nuno at this precise moment in time.
Yeah,
in a year or two, maybe, but again, Nuno needs to prove himself, and it's. I'm going to reverse the table a little bit, right? And I'm going to ask you this, right?
Yeah.
If us losing tomorrow guaranteed Nuno to be sacked, would you take the loss?
No, I wouldn't want to see him, but that's a weird question. That's like saying I would want us to lose.
Because the reason I'm asking is because the Spurs fan base is so divided in the sense they want Nuno gone as soon as possible.
Okay, I see what you're saying.
Yeah, right. The opinions are so divided. Like we want keep Nuno in, get Nuno out. Keep Nuno in, get Nuno out. At the end of the day, the way that we've gone about appointing managers recently after Poch has been fucking dreadful, to say the very least. We sacked Jose Mourinho after 18 months. rightly so. I don't think he was performing well. But at the same time, he's a better option than Nuno. Why did we not give him longer? What people are asking for is that we give Nuno a year, 2 years. But why didn't we give Jose the 2 years? Do you see what I'm saying? Like, we're not going to get someone of the same. We're not going to get someone at the same level as Nuno at this precise moment in time. So we need to stick by him. But I just don't. Right now, I just think he's so out of his depth, and I don't see him lasting past Christmas.
Yeah,
that's where I'm at.
Good point. I'll tell you one thing I'd take on this. I saw something on the internet during the week that made me laugh, which is nice to get a laugh from Spurs. It was the 4 stages of managing Tottenham. And there was a picture of Nuno on the first picture with his beard. There's a picture of an aging Nuno in the next picture, then an elderly Nuno. And the last picture was Uncle Albert from Only Fools and Horses. So that's what it does to the...
It's like Obama before and after the presidency. Yeah.
You know, but the thing I will say about him is this. He was honest in admitting he got it wrong against Arsenal. But he should not have got it wrong. I mean, there's our biggest game of the season against our biggest rivals. He couldn't get the team right. He couldn't get the tactics right. And he comes up and openly admits it. So we have another beautiful international break coming up that we all love so much after this game. So what's he going to have left? We lose tomorrow, right? The only thing that's going to save him is 2 things. One, Levy has not got anyone else lined up to replace him.
Yeah.
Because when Pochettino was sacked, Mourinho was in the door before Poch's seat was still warm when he came in.
Yeah.
I'm convinced Jose was already in talks with Tottenham before they even sacked him.
Of course he was, yeah. But then we had the second thing. When Mourinho was sacked, okay, Ryan Mason did the job.
It took us how long to appoint a manager? How long?
Exactly, 72 days.
Yeah, 72 days.
72 days. So, you know, there's nobody out there. There's nobody out. The only manager of any worth that I don't think this guy's working. They correct me if I'm wrong. Is Eddie Howe. He's the only. He was mentioned as a possibility. Yeah. He's the only guy with any credibility out there. And let's face it, he's not good enough for Spurs. Yeah. So I think Nuno is going to survive, not so much by his own actions, but for the very reason that there's nobody good enough there to replace him as we speak. Yeah. Now, that could change in January. It could change in July. I'm agreeing with Josh. I think he'd be lucky to survive beyond January.
Yeah.
You know, because there is going to be goings and comings in the managerial market over the next few months. And the
only reason we haven't got a good manager is because our board haven't made a lucrative, attractive offer. Conte would have been a fucking brilliant manager for us. Absolutely fucking insane. But because Levy didn't want to fucking bow down to him, we're stuck with a B-Tech fucking Conte.
Can you imagine Conte's passion? I hated the club when he was managing Chelsea, but his passion, when Chelsea scored a goal, he was doing the 50-yard sprint down the touchline every time. Nuno just sits there, you know, looking as if nothing's happened.
Claps his hands and strokes his beard. Like, what am I going to fuck up with next?
Exactly. You know, I don't know. No, he's. I mean, I don't like David. I don't want to see the manager sacked just for the sake of sacking him.
Yeah.
You know, we've got to have a line of succession lined up and ready to go when that day does come. And it will come. He's not a long-term solution for Spurs.
Yeah.
And I think he knows that.
No,
maybe that's got something to do with the way he knows he's only going to be there for a short term.
Do you know what?
Some of the players aren't helping either. I mean, to me, there's several players in that dressing room are not listening to him or just have chosen not to listen to him. So... let's just say, tell him not to bother buying a house in London because I don't think he's going to be there too long.
No, I don't think so either. I couldn't agree more, to be honest with you. Look, my suspicions is because I was told he was speaking to this Gallardo guy and he wants to win everything in Argentina before he finishes up at River Plate. And I think his contract is up in December or January. Honestly, I think Nuno could be a stopgap until this guy comes in, especially if he doesn't end up at Barcelona. That tells me maybe there's some sort of agreement already put in place there. But look, Paul Markey says, totally agree, David. That's why Paratici has to go make Gallardo an offer he can't refuse. Look at some recent River Plate bids. He's the dog's bollocks. No, big yourself up, Paul Markey. Look, I'm definitely going to do some research into him. I'm definitely going to look him up because I do have a feeling he could end up coming in and around Christmas or January. I just have that feeling, especially if he doesn't end up at Barcelona.
David, can you check if he speaks English?
Yeah, I'll definitely check that. If he doesn't speak English, I don't want him for sure because this
you say that an English and a non-English speaking manager is going to be a curse, but look at Leeds. Sorry.
Yeah, I know, but like if you look at our record, we had Santini. You know, look how that worked out. You know, we've had Wande Ramos use the translator. Look how that worked out. It doesn't seem to work at Tottenham Hotspur. Bringing in a manager that doesn't speak fluent English, in my opinion.
Another name that was thrown in the mix as well.
English. Can't even understand what's been said. Never mind speaking.
Another name that was thrown in the chat I've just seen was Zinedine Zidane. That's an interesting sort of. That's interesting.
You know what I said?
Levy. Good God.
I would take him. I said I would have took him before.
I'd take it, but Levy wouldn't. Levy wouldn't want a bigger name.
Oh, because he knows full well that Zinedine Zidane will polish his big ball forward and fucking headbutt him.
That's true, like he did against Materazzi in the World Cup final. But no, look, for me on Nuno, do you know what? It's half of it's his problem, half of it's the players' problems, because they have also got Pochettino sacked, Jose Mourinho sacked, and now Nuno. Apparently, he's too cold. You know, they have to realize managers aren't coming in to be their friends. Managers are coming in to manage them, to get the best out of them, so that they can be the best they can be, in order so that they can go and be successful in their football careers. And hopefully they realize that soon. I really don't want to be having these conversations about management so early into someone's tenure. But unfortunately, it has to be done. But the age-old question is, who was out there? Look, there are managers out there, Conte, Zidane. Levy's not going to pay the money. So after that, who realistically is out there? And that's a massive problem. But look, guys, great discussion today, I have to say. I've really, really enjoyed it. I think it's been a great show. Incredible numbers throughout. But look, Jack, we'll end on this. What's your score prediction and where can people find you, my man?
Do I see? I can't say 3-0 because I know they've had a lot of clean sheets, especially recently, the likes of Villa. And I do expect them to play a bit more defensive considering they'll be away from home. I'd like to see 2-0. I'd be plenty satisfied with 2-0. It's also realistic at the same time, considering we are now playing with a much stronger squad that has also been training with each other now. Villa also do have a few misses, or a few absences in terms of their team, David. So I'm going to go 2-0 for the boys. And then as well, people can plenty find me over at flatcapeurotalk, as I said earlier, about Stats with Jack, scout reports, especially if you want that Marcelo Gallardo, maybe a scout report as well, potentially if things were to go wrong this Sunday. You certainly will probably have that, maybe take a bit of priority just so people might know what maybe is out there for us Spurs fans in terms of managers. And so everybody can find us over at our sister channel, our second channel, Flat Cap Euro Talk. It's honestly the best place to go, especially maybe when you are looking for a bit of distraction from the absolute just conundrum sometimes that the Spurs fan base, as well as honestly Spurs in general, can be.
100%. So there you have it, guys. Make sure you tune into Flat Cap Euro Talk over the international break. A bit of a report on Gallardo and a scout report on Pape Matar Sarr as well. So make sure you get over there, smash that like button, smash the bell button so it gives you the notification when Jack does upload them, guys. It's sure to be a good one. And Paul Markey, really appreciate that support there. I forgot to say that, my man. Absolute legend, top man. Look, Josh, brilliant. Thanks very much for giving up your time and coming on today.
No worries.
A very great debut. I think people enjoyed you judging by the views. But look, what's your score prediction, my man?
I want to be realistic. I'm going to say if we're going to win, it'll be 2-1, and it'll be very scrappy. Because I think Aston Villa are going to come out of the gate very, very hard, and we need to be able to counter that. So if we are going to win, it'll be 2-1. If not, I see us dropping 2 points. I don't see us losing, but I see us dropping 2 points.
Interesting. And Philip, what's your score, man? What's your score prediction, my man?
I'm going to go for Nuno buying himself another few weeks with a 1-0 win with Harry Kane to score.
Absolutely love it, Philip. Brilliant. Look, guys, for me, I'm gonna go 3-1 Spurs. I'm gonna go Harry Kane with a brace, Son to get one. Look, if Eric Dyer plays, I think it'll be 2-2. Let me just make that clear. But I think if he doesn't play, I'm going to go 3-1 Tottenham Hotspur. Look, at the end of the day, there's a lot riding on this game. The manager, the players' reputation, and our club as well. So we all need to band together, sing for this club, and push the boys over the line to get 3 points tomorrow, and hopefully they can reciprocate it. Sorry, Philip, you were going to say?
I'm just going to say one thing. The atmosphere would want to be better than Thursday night. I mean, it was like watching an Arsenal match there at times. There was absolutely silence in the ground.
It was like watching an Arsenal ladies match. The crowd
exactly.
were so bad.
Like the crowd is going to have to get behind it. And if we go 1-0 down, stay behind them. Because that team is so fragile at the minute. If we go 1-0 down and the crowd turns on them, God knows what could happen.
No, well said. Well said.
If you're in the Wall of Sound tomorrow, anyone that's watching, if you're in the Wall of Sound tomorrow, I want to hear you screaming at the top of your lungs. I want you to just get behind them, boys. I want you to sing your voices until your voice can't sing no more.
Absolutely love it. Absolutely love it. Jack, do you want to say something before we end off?
No, I think that's the best way to put it there, Josh. And as well, I just think anybody that's hoping for the sacking, I think is just absolutely wrong. At the end of the day, I was just trying to say, I would just, if things were to go wrong Sunday, we have to ask further questions. But I only want the best for Nuno, and I want him to prove us wrong, Dave, and I want him to be able to get the result that he probably deserves. At the end of the day, we've said this a million times. It is the players that continue to let down these managers, not really the managers, letting down us. So I just only wish the best for Nuno, and maybe hopefully he can buy himself a brand new cologne or a brand new maybe beard oil just to rub it in the fans' face, Dave.
No, look, 100%. Look, guys, at the end of the day, no matter what's going on around our club, we fucking love Tottenham Hotspur, and that's for sure.
Fucking do. We
As
do.
always,
Tottenham till I die. I'm Tottenham till I die. Come on.